Okay, so it is 7 o'clock. We'll call the meeting to order. It's Thursday, July 9th, 2026. Pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call. Flores.
Here.
Gonzalez.
Here.
Hussein. Nope. Jost.
Here.
Mesa Jack. Here. Moldavsky.
Here.
Pelletier here. Okay. Next, public comments, agenda items only. Okay, is there anything anyone would like to pull off the consent agenda before approving? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, which includes minutes from June 11, 2026 and the June 2026 financial statements.
Can I, oh, sorry. Edits to the minutes, is that where I would?
We
Sorry.
can, yeah, we can approve the minutes as amended if you have a
So,
correction.
Mark and my last names were misspelled a couple times, that's all. So on, under roll call.
Yep.
Flores, and then on the third page, trustee Gonzalez, Z, not S at the end.
Okay.
Thank
We'll
you,
approve-
sorry.
Yeah, no, we'll approve the minutes, as amended. Those are minor corrections.
Yeah,
so-
it's just,
Yeah, but thank you.
Do we have a second?
Yes, we do. I'll. Okay, Gonzalez?
yes.
Jost?
Yes.
Mesa Jack?
Yes.
Moldavsky?
Yes.
Pelletier, yes. Flores?
Yes.
Okay, next, President's Report. Well, I know this didn't happen in June, but our own Jeff Ray was MC of the Morton Grove Parade. I don't know if everyone heard, but.
Just complimenting him on it.
Yeah, he did a great job, so. You know, take your bow for that. And then I'd like to wish best of luck to Bob, heading towards the Westmont Public Library, so thank him for his service. Okay, so committee reports. Finance we covered under the consent agenda. Facilities, I would like to propose that possibly, and it does not have to be just members of the facility committee, and that goes with every policy, every policy, every committee meeting. Any board member is welcome, but I'd like to propose that maybe we come a little bit early. So I'm saying this to the facility committee members, come a little early at the August meeting. Mohammed is also a member of the facility committee, so I can also kind of revisit this when he comes. But how does that work for like, even if it's like 6:30 or 6:20 or something like that? And it doesn't have to be like a very formal thing, but maybe if you want to walk along with us and as we're kind of chatting.
I was gonna say, did you guys usually do that anyways in August as like a group, as like the
Yes.
full board?
Yeah. I mean, and we certainly can. I'm just trying to kind of include some like a couple maybe annual facility, you know, make it more of like a formal, not a formal thing.
But specifically to that committee?
Right, like have that be something, because, you know, the policy committee has their meetings. Was just trying to get something a little bit more, you know, regular as the facility committee. But I know we all really care about about the facility, so that's why I bring it up as a group thing, because you know, I'm sure we all have you know, thoughts, ideas, and everything. So we certainly could, if we were to just have it just be open to everybody, then we would probably start meeting, you know, early, and Jeff can kind of do the walkthrough with if all of us actually want to do that.
thoughts?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Six.
Yeah.
I will be here for the August meeting.
Okay. Yeah, and that's why, like, I mean, I, you know,
Do you know when we did like the last group walkthrough? Was that a year ago?
It was usually either August or September, I felt like.
Were you part of it?
Yeah,
Like,
that was-
okay.
well,
Okay.
now,
You were there for it.
for the internal one. We did an internal one, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. This could be a good opportunity to maybe do like an exterior walkthrough, since the weather is nice, and and the most recent one we've done has been an interior. It's been,
Sure, I
you know,
just checked out the new monitoring signs, they look nice.
yeah.
Cameras.
Yeah. And I think that's, you know, and I'm glad we got the internal walkthrough, that's always, helpful, especially for newer board members to see. So I'll bring it up again when, you know, Mohammed is here too, and see if that works for everyone. So, okay, thank you. Policy committee was busy, and we will go over that under new business. So, staff report, you know, and we'll get to staff reports, but real quick, I just wanna, Karina, since you're sitting here too, you happen to include in your report, like, well, you know, there's like some nice Google reviews and everything like that, like, those are great, so, I mean, I wanted to like, you know, give your team a shout out too, so, because your marketing and engagement team always does such a great job, and you're the voice of the community in a lot of ways, so I think when people post those things on Google, I mean, you know, so that should be like on there, it's not just community, I mean, that should be like as a highlight as communication too, because people, you know, look how happy they are. So thank you for including that.
Thank you.
So staff reports, so anything you'd like to highlight or add?
Well, I was just gonna actually highlight Karina again.
Oh my, I beat you to it, alright.
Right. So I don't know if you guys were aware, for our summer reading kickoff, it was the first year where we had to move it indoors due to the weather. Karina was really great in having a backup plan for if that were to occur. We were watching the weather all week. She stepped in seamlessly on Thursday, and we waited until the last possible moment on Friday to make that determination to move it indoors, but we had everything already ready to go. So it was seamless from moving it indoors, or from outdoors to indoors. Patrons were a little confused because one of the reasons why we moved it indoors is because it was raining up until about 5:15, which is part of the setup time, which we can't set up if it's raining. You know, the band doesn't want to be out there either. So of course at 6 o'clock, 6:30, when it's actually starting, it's like sunny again, and you know, everyone's like, well, why is it indoors? Well, it had been raining. Also, I don't know if you guys remember that night, it was one of the most humid nights of the year, so I don't know how pleasant it would have been to have it outside. It was still, we still had, you saw, we estimate to be 350 attendees. People were still, you know, dancing and boogieing in the auditorium to the band. If you ever want people to attend any event, have a face painter. Apparently, that brings out the crowd. It was 30, 50 people deep throughout most of the night for the face painter. And we had crafts going and everything, so it was still a successful evening, even though it did rain. It didn't dampen the spirit of the event, and it was, you know, a lot of that was Karina and her planning. So kudos to Karina. Also, our summer reading numbers are up this year. I don't know if you guys did see that as well. I did talk to Courtney today. We are 2 entries away from beating the all-time record for YS summer reading signups. Yes. And then just the fact too, we have an increase in adults and teens this year. I think Melissa mentioned it for the adults. We have that t-shirt prominent at the adult, is it East desk, where then that draws people in asking how do I get that. We have hats that are available too as prizes and giveaway. People really enjoy the hats. So once again, another shout out to Karina's marketing team, Bettina, who created the logo for the summer reading this year that everyone loves. It's on the t-shirt. People, it was a big draw. So summer reading's been really successful this year as well. One of the other things I wanted to highlight is Courtney made really great efforts to begin a collaboration with the Cook County Forest Preserve. She has the story walk now set up in Lynn Woods, that'll be there through October. There's also, she's potentially talking with them of having a permanent story walk potentially set up there. It's something that, I don't know if I'll say that. But it is something that she is still in collaboration with the Cook County Forest Preserve. Forget we're on camera. Just the fact, I'm proud of all staff. I just want to highlight that it really is everyone on the team that contributes to summer reading, not just, adult services librarians, not just youth librarians, the marketing team, access services, they're the ones that are checking in all the materials, shelving all the materials, while doing passports at the same time. Building maintenance staff, all the room setups, all the program setups that they're doing during summer reading. It truly is a team effort, and just so proud of everyone on staff and that, everyone is contributing in some way to making this a successful summer reading for the library. So I just want to actually just give a shout out to everyone at the library and all departments. It's well deserved. And I was saying, in my email I said Leighton doing Leighton's things as well. So,
We have an
awesome staff.
so yeah.
And Mohammed, you walked in late, but Jeff just shared that we're 2 entries away from the all-time summer reading, record,
For entries.
For entries.
Okay, wow.
And then, so.
I'll pull one in a second.
I know, I'm like ready to.
Yeah, so,
Awesome.
thank you so much. Okay, unfinished business, bathroom renovation.
So we got good news. The new soap dispenser is finally coming next week, so you will not see bathroom renovation on the unfinished business anymore. So Tim was finally able to get them to come out, and they're gonna be bringing in the new soap dispenser next week, so that will be, so then that takes care of everything, I think, on the punch list for the bathroom renovation. So everything now will be good to go.
Awesome. Great. Okay, I'll open this up and then we can discuss if needed. I'd like to make a motion to approve the closing of the library on Friday, November 6th, 2026 for staff training.
Second.
So this is something that is usually annual.
Yeah, it's usually around that when we do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. We're usually pretty good about giving patrons advance notice and, any questions about that, the staff training closing?
Okay, we'll vote on it. Hussein?
Yes.
Jost?
Yes.
Mason,
Yes.
Goldowski?
Yes.
Pelletier, yes. Flores?
Yes.
Gonzalez?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so discussion, the emergency preparedness plan, so, I'll let you kind of, take lead on this, and I hopefully everyone kind of read through this, but, you're checking the boxes, so best practices, draft an emergency preparedness plan, and I'll let you elaborate, but, so the question that Jeff is proposing, for us, do we want to have these conversations to, I'm trying to be redundant with the word prepare, to prepare to implement an emergency preparedness program? Do we want to have these during our board meetings, or do we want to do a special committee? So do you want to elaborate on?
Yeah, I know this was something that Pam wanted to work on this year. It's actually part of the Illinois Library Standards that as one of the core competencies, every library should have an emergency preparedness plan. We kind of do have some of this already in place. We have the flip charts at all of the public service desks and all the offices of what to do in an emergency, but that's only in the emergency. Part of the emergency preparedness plan would be pre-emergency activities that you should be doing, emergency plan during the emergency, all the things that you should do, and then post-emergency. So one of the things that that we need to consider is if there was a major event either to the building or in the community, what does recovery look like? We don't ever want, a major, storm coming through, tearing the roof off, water damage, things like that. But you do have to prepare for it, so that way if something like that were to occur, you would have a plan in place on how to get a recovery and try to bring back operations as quick as possible. So that's something that we don't have yet, and that would be part of the emergency preparedness plan. I actually did just start Directors University 2 weeks ago. The second course was on emergency preparedness plan, so it kind of worked out. And one of the things they did say was involve your board early in this process, because one of the things is, there's a list of phone numbers. Usually one of the phone numbers is the board president, because that's one of the people you will need to contact if an emergency like this occurs. So just getting board involvement on kind of some of the decisions that may need to be made. I was talking about this with Tim, our facilities manager. One of the libraries he worked at had hired a company to partake in the recovery process after a major event like a fire, a storm. One of the companies that the company he worked with was on a list I found through the ALA website. They're actually out of Northbrook. So there were two that they recommended, and they both have offices in Illinois, but the one that he had worked with previously was the one that's out of Northbrook. But for instance, and we had this happen before when I was circulation manager, one of the fire sprinklers bust. It poured water out. Luckily it was in the bathroom, but it did seep down into the youth services collection and did damage some of the materials down there. So one of the things that a company like this would do would be to try to salvage some of the materials to help save them and recover them for the collection. One of the things Leighton and I talk about that I worry about is all the files that we have for the records retention. If a fire sprinkler were to bust in the admin area, that could damage all those files that we're supposed to keep for so many years based on law. What do we do in that instance? How do we recover those documents? Should we have a thing in place now where do we potentially try to store some of these electronically in a cloud system so that way we have a backup if there were to be a major disaster? So it's thinking and preparing for things like that as part of this emergency preparedness plan. And so, how far do we want to go? And this is where we would need board input. There are some libraries that are smaller, in rural areas. Their main way to deal after an emergency is they have a company that they work with that'll bring in fans, and they do everything in-house, but we're not recovery experts. We don't know how to properly execute, getting mold and mildew out of paper materials or how to properly handle things like that. There are companies that, specifically have experience in this and have the expertise for this. So is it something, how far do we want to go in that recovery process, I guess? So making decisions like that. One of the other things they did mention too, and I had been thinking about this when it happened, the director who presented, their library was in a former bank. So they've made an intergovernmental agreement with the town that if they're ever closed and there's any impending storms, the town can get into the library and use those vaults as a shelter if people don't have shelter within town. So it would be, seeking board opinion and approval. How far do we want to go if there's a major disaster just within Morton Grove? Do we want to be seen as a location to where we can help the village and potentially, use the Baxter Room as a place where people could come in? And if the reason why I thought of this was the building collapse that happened in February. We were so close. Those people were led into the animal shelter to seek heat because it was cold out while they were seeking shelter. And I was thinking, we were right there too. Could we have been used in the Baxter Room? Could we have let them in the Baxter Room, thrown in a movie while they were trying to find, while they were working through all that? So it would be like, do we want to be considered for things like that with the village? And I was going to, one of the things that they mentioned was to reach out to your village or town to see what resources they have and what kind of their emergency plan is too. I did look on the village website. Their plan is from 2013 and it still mentions the old radio system that they used to have. So I'm kind of hesitant to reach out because I don't know.
Like, let's update together.
Maybe you should reach out and let it fire.
Well, with that, a lot of time, you see this universally too when there's a changeover of personnel, that leaves, whoever owned that, whoever owned that emergency preparedness it kind of falls by the wayside. Okay, so we could dive right into this discussion too, but to kind of get the question of, do we want to have these discussions as a full board or create a committee? I will go ahead and share my personal thought that I think we should have full board discussions. I think everyone here has good perspectives, and I would like to have these discussions together. And let's also be real, that this is not gonna come together in next month. This is gonna be like a work in progress kind of thing, like we'll take it chunk by chunk. And so I personally think that everyone's voice should be a part of that. What does everyone else think?
I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I think that once you kind of open up one question, that brings up 5 more, which brings up sub A, and to type, so there's so many different, questions, about this, but, I'm glad you're thinking about it. I'm glad that Directors University is going well, so, that hopefully you continue to learn a lot, and I bumped into Jeff, and he did include this in his report too. One of the things you said in your first Directors University, that some of the stuff that they were teaching you, it's already being done here at the library, which is great to hear, so.
I always use the example of when I was training staff downstairs, they would always say, I'm not ready, I don't know what I'm doing, and then you get them in the moment and they're able to do it. And I said, yeah, do you realize I Mr. Miyagi'd you from the crowd? You didn't realize you were learning all this stuff, but you did. It's the same thing with Pam. Pam, like I see myself sometimes, that's not policy, that's procedure, that shouldn't be involved in a policy. And that's one of the first things they talked about at Directors University, and I know. So, I was able to learn through Pam as well a lot of these things. So she did set us up for success with the way she has implemented the policy review, cleaning up the policy. That was one of her goals, I know. So we're doing all the things that have been recommended through Directors University. So I was already ahead that first lesson that, we're already in a good place. I already know a lot of these things, and a lot of that is because of the things that Pam implemented, so.
Yeah. But I think for the emergency preparedness plan, I'd say let's continue that this will be a work project. We can all kind of keep our perspectives and thoughts in here. I think everyone's perspective is valuable. So, yeah.
We did already create a emergency preparedness team. It's myself, Leighton, Tim, and Courtney. Courtney might know general contracting stuff better than most business, or not business, but building facility managers. So she's someone that I know nothing. One of the residents.
You know more than you think you do.
We're not about building stuff. You mentioned a soffit, and I go, "What's a soffit?" He goes, "You should know what a soffit is." I don't know what that is.
Well, you've seen a soffit, you just don't call
no,
it a
that's
soffit,
what it's called. But yeah, I
yeah.
don't know what that is.
I have a related question. So I believe the library is a designated cooling center. So what happens?
That's only for open hours.
Okay, that was my question, because I was thinking about that with 4th of July, like how hot it was and how our community's designated cooling spots might not have been available because of that. So, I was just wondering about that.
And I don't know how that works particularly well, just because I've never been in that role before. But I remember too, I used to work at Aurora, and we were a warming facility, and I feel like in certain instances, some of the warming facilities would open, even if it wasn't particular, they were supposed to be closed. Not all of them, but they would have a couple if it was like a really bad day.
But this probably goes back to even to that whole, that,
in
my mind, like I would think that maybe this would maybe be started by someone at the village, and maybe there's like a phone tree, or that that person at the village calls this warming center and this warming center, and hey, we're really running into trouble, we need you to open, there should be some kind of communication line between village and all our village institutions, so theoretically, right?
Well, and I'm sure there is some of that in place. Bonnie at the township supervisor is also a good person to loop in about this, when especially if it comes to sheltering issues like the heating, the cooling.
And that's where I would need your guys' opinion and approval. It would be like, what are we allowed to do in situations like that? Because I did when I heard that the building had collapsed, I was waiting for, some kind of email chain to go through, like, hey, I'm like,
Sure,
hey,
sure,
can you
sure.
run into the building, maybe we might be used as one, but it never happened, because they did get
Yeah.
shelter at the animal shelter, but, I would be willing to come in and help out
Right.
the community in any way we could, once again, we do have to think of library operations as well, but
Right.
what can we do if there is a larger emergency that's occurring within the village? What role can we play in that? So,
Okay. Thank you for, so, to be continued, folks.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right. Policy committee, who wants to take it? Policy chair?
take
There we
it.
go. Okay.
If you guys, I'm sure everybody went through every policy to see what the changes were. A good majority of them were cleanups.
Yeah.
So unless you have an issue with any of the cleanups, please bring it up. The bigger one was, I believe, the AI, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big addition was the AI, which is new to it. So if there were to be a discussion, I would think it might be about that, but we all agreed that it was well-written by Jeff and the staff. And I believe our final recommendation was to approve them as Jeff presented them today, or in our board packets. So should I make a motion? Yes.
Make a motion. You gotta
Make a
list them out
motion?
though.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, it says, there's the.
Just read it, just read it.
Read the salmon.
And I had it in front of me. So approve the okay. Guys, I can't read.
Somebody with read glasses.
Does anyone have reading?
Bring that person.
All right, I make a motion to approve the revisions to the library policies as presented, including capital assets, collection development, donation, finance and purchasing, public services, recording of public meetings, social networking, and study room policies as they are before you.
you know what?
It's a different topic, so.
Oh,
Anybody
are you
second?
reading this?
I'll second.
On the actual agenda,
Oh, yeah, that's what I was
Sorry.
looking at.
yeah, that's,
Sorry.
sorry, that did not get.
No,
I was gonna say, read
and I can see that. I'd like to propose a
Was that the-
motion
Oh,
to approve the policies, including capital assets, collection development, donations, finance and purchasing, interlibrary loans, library card, loans, renewals, fines and services, and proctoring.
yeah.
I'll second. Did you second?
Thank you. Any questions about any of the policies? So I would imagine that, did you guys talk the most about, trying to find the AI part of it? Is that probably what?
Yeah.
You guys had the most
Yeah.
Just
discussion?
in the collection development.
Right, the collection, okay.
You see, a lot of discussion was on creating a style guide too, which is what Karina did. And that was implemented in these that were, put in your board
Thank
packet. Yeah, and then going forward, every review, we will clean it up and,
Right.
make it,
Focus.
consistent
Yeah.
across the board with the style guide now.
Yeah. Looks good. Questions?
Appreciate you guys getting rid of the 3-hour cap on proctoring.
It's just for you. What you call it.
You're gonna take it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Jost?
Yes. Rachel?
Yes.
Rogowski?
Yes.
Ellsworth, yes. Flores?
Absolutely.
Gonzalez? Yes. Hussein?
Yes.
Thank you, policy committee, appreciate that. All right, communications, there were two, letter from Alexis Julius,
Oh, really?
granting us the, Illinois Public Library per capita grant. That's always a nice chunk. And continued appreciation that we have a Secretary of State that is so pro-library. That is something that I know that every library in Illinois probably appreciates, so. And then a very sweet note, commending Brenda, right?
Yeah.
So sweet. And, you know, and the great Google comments as well, too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a nice addition with
Yeah.
See.
highlights from the new reviews.
Oh, we also talked about, doing like an exterior facilities walkthrough next month.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
As long as, I'll be traveling first week, but anytime after that.
so it would be, so way more than about, like, right before the meeting, is that
Was
doable
today the
for
meeting
you?
yet?
August 20th.
Oh, I'll be back.
It's a week
Yeah, I'll
later.
be back
Yeah.
before Now's start, so yes,
Okay,
that's perfect.
okay, so we're thinking like 6:30, you can, perfect, okay. Alright, so, then, we have public comments, not agenda items. No? Really, this is your chance? Okay. Alright, so, and as a reminder, we have a different meeting date next month, that is August 20th. We'll be meeting at 6:30 to do the kind of an exterior facilities walkthrough. Anyone is welcome to join. So that leaves us at 7:31 for meeting adjourned.